Some stories feel like half-remembered dreams, a sudden flash of brilliance on screen, then silence. What remains is a faint image, a feeling, and the quiet question, whatever happened to them? In the world of entertainment, this is especially true for child actors who burn brightly for a moment before fading into obscurity. Sometimes we assume they simply chose another path, grew up, and moved on. But other times the silence is born of tragedy, sudden, irreversible, and heartbreaking. This is the story of Sammi Kraft, a girl with a golden arm and a spirit to match. For one unforgettable summer, she became the face of raw talent and underdog triumph on the big screen. If you watched the 2005 remake of The Bad News Bears, you knew her as Amanda Wurlitzer, the fiery pitcher who could humble any batter brave enough to face her. Her performance felt so authentic, so lived in, you would swear she had been playing baseball her entire life. The truth is, she had. This wasn't just a role. Baseball was who she was. Hollywood was only a brief chapter in a life that ended far too soon. Her legacy is not measured in fame, but in love, loss, and a final gift that echoed long after she was gone. A Hollywood Summer. To understand Sammi's brief but brilliant rise, we must step back to the mid-2000s, when Hollywood was in the grip of remake fever. Studios were dusting off classics from the 70s and 80s, betting that nostalgia would bring audiences back to theaters. In 2005, it was time to revive a scrappy gem from 1976, The Bad News Bears. The original film was raw, hilarious, and iconic, a foul-mouthed story of misfit kids and their beer-soaked coach that captured the cynical spirit of the 70s. Remaking it was risky. The studio needed to preserve its rebellious edge while updating it for a new generation. Director Richard Linklater, known for his authentic, character-driven films, was brought in. Billy Bob Thornton was cast as washed-up coach Morris Buttermaker. But the heart of the story rested on Amanda Wurlitzer, the secret weapon pitcher who transformed a hopeless team into contenders. In the original, Amanda was played by Tatum O'Neal, who had already won an Academy Award. The new Amanda had to be equally magnetic. Casting directors could have chosen an experienced child actress, but Linklater sought something rawer. He wanted a real pitcher, someone who lived the game. That search led them to a baseball field in Southern California. The Girl with the Golden Arm. Sammi Kraft was born on April 2, 1992, in Livingston, New Jersey. Her family later moved to Los Angeles, where her talents had room to grow. From the start, it was clear she was a natural athlete. While other kids played with dolls or video games, Sammi was on the diamond. She didn't just play baseball, she dominated it. Joining boys' leagues, she quickly became a force. Her specialty was pitching, and by age 11 she was already throwing a 70-mile-per-hour fastball, faster than many high schoolers. She had a devastating curveball that buckled opponents' knees. She wasn't good for a girl. She was great, period. Acting was never her dream. Her life was chalk lines, leather gloves, and the sharp thwack of a ball in a mitt. But fate intervened. A casting agent scouting for The Bad News Bears spotted her. Here was a girl who didn't just look the part, she lived it. She was invited to audition. Unlike other kids vying for roles, Sammi wasn't polished. She had no resume, no commercials, no stage school training. But she had authenticity. Richard Linklater saw what others couldn't teach. After several auditions, the unknown baseball prodigy from Los Angeles landed the role. At 12, Sammi Kraft was suddenly a movie star. A natural on screen. Filming was a whirlwind. Sammi found herself on a major set with a respected director and stars like Billy Bob Thornton. Many of the kids cast were also real athletes, giving the production a summer camp energy. For Sammi, The baseball scenes were effortless. She performed her own pitching, giving the film unmatched realism. When The Bad News Bears premiered in summer 2005, her performance was widely praised. Audiences loved her tough yet vulnerable portrayal of Amanda. She held her own against seasoned actors, embodying both swagger and sensitivity. For a moment, it seemed Hollywood was ready to embrace her. But Sammi surprised everyone. Instead of chasing stardom, she stepped back. She returned to school, hung out with friends, and lived like a normal teenager. Hollywood would not define her. She had other passions waiting. The music within. As she grew older, another love began to guide her life: music. The same passion she once channeled through fastballs now flowed into melodies and lyrics. She taught herself guitar, began writing songs, and discovered a soulful voice beyond her years. Music became a shared bond with her older brother, Frankie. Together, they created a stage play called Funerals, inspired by their grandmother's death. It was an ambitious, deeply personal project exploring grief, memory, and love. Sammi poured herself into it, both musically and emotionally. She also formed a folk pop band with friends, playing small gigs around Los Angeles. Among her closest companions was Alana Haim, who, along with her sisters, would later form the Grammy-nominated band Haim. Their circle of friends was tight-knit, dreamers navigating early adulthood together through music and art. Sammi attended San Francisco State University, but remained rooted in her hometown creative scene. Surrounded by family, friends, and music, her future seemed limitless. A life stolen. But on the night of October 9, 2012, everything changed. Sammi was a passenger in an Audi speeding westbound on the 10 freeway in Los Angeles. Driven by her friend Molly Kate Adams, the car slammed into the back of a semi-truck. Moments later, a Toyota struck them from behind. The crash was catastrophic. Emergency responders rushed her to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Despite doctors' efforts, Sammi's injuries were too severe. Later that day, at just 20 years old, she was pronounced dead. The shock was unbearable. For her family, her brother Frankie, and her friends like Alana, the grief was overwhelming. The tragedy deepened when investigators confirmed the driver had been under the influence. Molly Kate Adams later pleaded no contest to felony drunk driving. Sammi's death was not just tragic, it was preventable. A legacy of love. In their darkest moment, Sammi's family made a selfless choice. They donated her organs. Among the recipients was a woman named Yvonne Payne, who received Sammi's heart. For Yvonne, it was a miracle, new life where there had been only despair. For Frankie, this act became a lifeline. Grieving the loss of his sister, he sought out Yvonne, determined to connect with the person carrying Sammi's heart. This journey became the centerpiece of his moving documentary, Help Her Live. In one unforgettable scene, Frankie places a stethoscope on Yvonne's chest. He hears his sister's heartbeat once again. It was proof that Sammi lived on, not just in memory, but physically, in the most profound way possible. The music carries on. Sammi's passing left an indelible mark on her friends, especially Alana Haim. On tour when she learned the news, Alana was devastated. Years later, her grief surfaced in Haim's hauntingly beautiful song Hallelujah. The opening verse was written for Sammi. I met you on a Monday and you were gone by Tuesday night. It was simple, raw, and devastating. The song became a global success, carrying Sammi's memory to millions who never knew her. Through music, her light continued to shine. More than a tragedy. Sammi Kane Kraft's life was short, but its significance endures. She represents authenticity, the rare spark of raw talent discovered by chance. Her role in the Bad News Bears remains a testament to her natural gifts. But her true legacy lies beyond Hollywood. Her story is a cautionary reminder of the devastating consequences of impaired driving. More importantly, her family's choice to donate her organs transformed their grief into life-saving hope for others. Through Frankie's documentary, through Alana's song, through Yvonne's beating heart, Sammi's spirit continues. She is remembered not only for what she did, but for what she gave. Remembering Sammi. It is tempting to define Sammi only by her tragic end, to imagine the music she never wrote or the life she never lived. But her story is more than its ending. She was a force of nature on the baseball field, a soulful artist with wisdom beyond her years, a loyal friend who inspired love and creativity, and in her final act, a silent hero who gave the gift of life. Sammi Kraft's story is a symphony cut short in its opening movement, yet it does not end in silence. It ends with a heartbeat, her heartbeat, still echoing in the world today.